Hello, I'm currently filming in my apartment in Melbourne where I'm isolating for the next 14 days and trying not to go completely insane. Why? I was just in Sydney, which is the centre of an outbreak of the COVID-19 Delta variant. This morning there were 130 active cases and the whole state pretty much is locking down for 2 weeks to try to prevent that from getting any worse. It's a pretty scary situation for New South Wales and the rest of Australia, so I thought it might be a good time to make a video about the Delta variant of COVID-19 and why it is so dangerous. And just before we get into the rest of the video, for those of you who do not know, I'm Maddie. I write Mads from Lab. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel to see more, and also I'll put a link to my blog in the description box below. Okay, so back to COVID. The Delta variant was first detected in late 2020 in India and is responsible for the enormous wave of infections that started there in March this year. At the peak of infections, it was something like almost 300,000 new infections a day, which is absolutely mind-boggling, especially to me living in Australia where we've had comparatively very little COVID. The Delta variant is now in over 50 countries and has replaced the Alpha variant as the most dominant strain of coronavirus in a lot of cases. So there are 3 things that are really worrying about the Delta variant. The first is that it spreads super fast. It's the most transmissible strain of COVID-19 that we know. There's about a 60% higher risk of household transmission of the Delta variant compared to the Alpha variant. The second thing is that it causes much more severe disease. So if you get infected with the Delta variant compared to the Alpha variant, your risk of ending up in hospital doubles. And the last thing is that the AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccines are actually less effective against the Delta variant compared to other strains of coronavirus. Another question is, where does the Delta coronavirus variant come from? In general, where do these new variants emerge from? So viruses cannot replicate on their own. They need to enter human or other animal cells and hijack those cells to create new virus particles. Part of this process involves replicating the viral genome. And during this copying process, there can be mistakes. The new viral genome might contain some differences known as mutations from the original. In a lot of cases, the mutation is actually detected and corrected, or is inconsequential and doesn't affect the virus much. But in some rare cases, the mutation can actually change the virus's behavior and enhance its ability to transmit, to replicate, or to evade the immune system. In these cases, the virus actually spreads and it becomes more common in the population due to its superior survival characteristics. This is what happened with the Delta variant. The Delta variant has several mutations compared to the original coronavirus. These mutations do 2 main things. The first is to make the virus better at binding to host cells and infecting them. The second is it makes it harder for our own immune system to recognize and then neutralize the virus with antibodies. So how worried should we be, and what can we actually do about the Delta variant? Well, one thing I will say is that the Delta variant is dangerous, but most dangerous for people who are not vaccinated or not fully vaccinated. A recent study showed that the Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccines were only 33% effective against the Delta variant after 1 dose. But this went up to 88% and 60% respectively after the 2nd dose. So the most important thing is to go out if you can and get vaccinated. That's the best thing that we can do right now. Well, that's all from me for now. I'm going to get to my inevitably very quiet afternoon. My friends in New South Wales, I'll be thinking of you, and just remember, you're not the only one locking down.